now in order. So pledge allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so Lauren and Phil are not here. Have we heard from them?
No.
I have not.
Okay, need a motion to excuse them?
So moved, Mayor.
Whoa, I'm on the line.
Oh, and it's Lauren?
Who's on the line?
Yes, I called in.
Okay,
Okay.
Lauren called in.
So Lauren is here.
Lauren is on the
So-
line.
We need a motion for Phil. Well, we already made a motion.
Yeah, I'll rescind that motion and just make it for, particularly for Phil.
Phil.
Do you have a second?
A second.
Okay. Vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We need an approval of the agenda and consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda and the agenda.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. No presentations. Department reports. Jay is not here, so Steven's here for the fire department.
Fire department, I don't have much to report. I will report that we are currently at 112 calls for the year. And I would say that with the weather we've been having, we've been really fortunate. We have not really had any fires, so I commend people for that. And I would also encourage people to still be safe out there. And that'd be the end of my report.
Thank you, Steve. Next, City Administrator, Pat Money.
So I'm going to do both public works and city administration. So Byers Street, the project is up to subgrade. The curb forming is in. The subcontractor for Crestline Construction on the concrete was supposed to be here by now, but he hasn't, and they've been struggling trying to get him here, but they got the 22nd for sure they're supposed to pour concrete, so which is making it difficult for some of the property owners up there because the curbs are already in, so they're having, or forms are in, so they're having access getting in and out of their property. So the contractor's trying to work with them as they need to get in and out, and we'll see how that goes throughout the week. I've told the people who called with concerns to keep me informed how things are going, and I will keep the communication with Crestline to keep it moving. The crew is been out painting crosswalks on the wastewater treatment project. We'll be later this week talking with them on the phone about moving the project forward. What we are looking for is more of a, not just putting in the sand corkscrew and press to get rid of the sand out of the system or the grid. Before we put that in, I want a preliminary site plan of how we're going to expand that plant in the future. So when we install this, we make sure that's not in the way of any of those future plans. So we're not paying to relocate something in the future, and we can leave it in place and design it so it works both for the new and the old. This week, tomorrow I'll be working with Dustin to finish up the TIB grant, because they have to be submitted by Friday. And then we have till September, but we're working on the public works trust fund grant still, trying to get all of that information together so we can get that submitted. On the TIB grant, we're going to have to cut the project back because of inflation. The expenses too high. It's like a $1.4 million project. We need to get that back down around $1 million or less is what we're going to try to do. And the public works crew is still, we've repaired some of the slides and swing sets in some of the parks, and we're continuing trying to find pieces for those pieces that are cracked or broke, or find a way to repair them better. And with the swing sets, we're just replacing them. And get that stuff all back up into really good working condition for the swing set. And then on the city administrator side, we have several short applications I'll be working on, and working on preparing some draft ordinance changes to bring to city council in the next month or two for them to start reviewing. One has to do with weeds, so that we can get some more enforcement teeth into those, and some procedures where if we don't get compliance, where we can go in and take care of those weed issues ourselves, and then bill the people, and if they don't pay the bill, then leave the property if needed. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, we'd like to get compliance. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you, Pat. We'll come back to our police chief, Jay.
Okay, first of all, my radio's off, but if the phone rings off, I'm gonna go because I'm covering patrol today. Just gotta keep the council up to date of what's going on. Our OT budget's taking a huge hit. Being down 2 officers, one on paternity leave still, officers getting sick and stuff. We've had a lot of overtime go out in the last 2 months, or since we lost everyone. So right now, my budget's in critical condition as far as overtime. We're at 76.94%. Since being down as officers, and then it's just stressed out. I've got one officer that was out sick for the last part of his 2 shifts. Now I've got another one out sick that was supposed to be on tonight. He'll probably be gone in a couple of days, so I'm covering. There's an officer that's going to be doing OT tomorrow. We're still busy, very busy. From August 1st to the 15th, between the 2 councils, we've had 158 cases. Just to give you a somewhat breakdown, we've had at least 9 disorderly calls. We've had 25 suspicious calls. 7 thefts, 7 animal complaints, welfare checks, citizen assists. We're down on some. We've had agency assists. We've had 10 of those, and it's just coming all in. There are different things we've got going: civil warrants, found property, trespass. We had a hazmat incident, harassment, medical, theft of motor vehicles, 2. 1 child abuse, 1 EVC, 1 burg. This is pretty nice. 1 mental issue in the last couple of weeks, so that was good. Citizen disputes, frauds, litter, alarms, Hulk inspections. I didn't get through all the list before I got pulled away. So, but we're struggling. We're getting hit hard. We're getting a lot of call outs and stuff, and people are just, it's going crazy. So, but I just want council to be aware that the budget, or the overtime budget, is way down, and we're budgeted 25 a year. So, anyways, it was unforeseeable. I'm on with an officer out sick, one on maternity leave, and Sergeant Smith is working day shift. Other officers weren't available. I couldn't get anybody to help out tonight, so let alone my day shift, I'm pulling swing shift, so I'm working a 20-hour day. So, and that, we got 2 potential laterals for hire, but we'll know more Wednesday. Any questions?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. When you say 76%, now, is that the year's budget? Is that what you're referring to, or that's overtime?
76.94% on the budget is for overtime that's been used.
Oh, overtime, okay.
Right now, I have a balance of overtime of $5,764. When we've got the call outs, we've got officers covering shifts. on their days off, because we gotta cover the shifts, that's 10 hours OT at the shop. Sergeant Smith was the only one that stepped up and was able to work it when the day shift officer went out for Friday, Saturday. That's 20 hours OT. Then he goes right into his work week. You know, we have these shifts. So it's not fun right now. I'm trying, but, you know.
Well, what can we do about that? Can we change the budget up, reallocate?
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
obviously,
eventually.
policing is one of the top priorities that we have to have.
Yeah, if towards the end of the year, if there's an issue, we'll just do a budget amendment to cover this expensive. But he has had, you know, we talked about this earlier, we're down a couple employees.
Yeah, right.
So that's money we've saved. We figured that's between what, $5,000 and $10,000, something like that. So, you know, so it may, you know, the bottom line should balance out. As long as the bottom line balances out, we're fine. We're not over budget. He's just over a line item.
Yeah, over line item. This is just OT.
Yeah.
Overall, the overall number right now, I'm sitting just about where I need to be, maybe a point or two above.
Or you could volunteer.
Yeah.
Well,
Give me a gun.
hey, this is Lauren weighing in a little bit. Jay, what do you need for support, or what do you need from council or the city to get you back to normal a little bit in the long term? Because, you know, budgets can balance or whatever the case may be, but you need staff so you're not stressing your folks out, and we can provide the services we need to provide. So do we need to make some changes? What needs to happen to get the staffing up for your department again?
Okay,
Go ahead.
Pat is wanting to chime in on that one.
So one thing we can do is enter into, talk to the sheriff's department when he has officers off, and enter into an agreement with the sheriff's department or those officers directly, and have those contracts in place so that if there is a shortage like this, that we can actually have them come in and work that overtime. So are those times to cover if we need that coverage. Other than that, you know, we're just, the chief and I have been working really hard to get the department up to speed, and like he stated, we have 2 potential laterals. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure one of them's going to work out, the other one we're hoping. But the closer we get to full staff, the less this will be a problem.
Okay, and the thing about hiring police officers is nothing that happens real quick, you know, because of the standards that the police officers have to go through. Once we get a civil service list, I've got 2 entry levels on it that their backgrounds are done. Now, we got possibly 2 laterals. We can get the backgrounds done pretty quick on them, but then you have polygraphs that they got to go to, and the psychological evaluation they got to go to, right? And once they pass all that, you can give them the conditional offer, right, and then get them on board. If we got the 2 laterals, that would be great, because they're Washington State certified officers and they're current. That means all they got to do is learn Goldendale Police's way of reports and stuff like that, but they're already familiar with the Spillman system, sector and all that, so they would be on the, if we got both of them, they'd be on, we'd be at full staff mid-September at the latest. As long as we didn't have any problems with backgrounds or polygraphs. Physical, so we're working on it. It just takes so long to get one on the street, Lauren.
Okay, yeah, just let us know if there's any more support or anything you need.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just wanted the council to be aware of my overtime budget line and stuff, you know, because hopefully it'll all work out here real soon, but I'm tired. My officers are tired that have been working to fill in all this stuff. So.
Yeah. I think I can speak for the entire council, but thank you for everything you do and everything that they do, and could you pass that along?
I will.
Great.
I will. Thank you.
Council business. We'll start with Smart Street Light Management and Maintenance Options. And Pat, are you gonna be visiting that?
Yeah, we were supposed to have a gentleman online, we're, just a second, let's see if we're, click on this. Parson, are you online?
He's clicking the audio right now. How is that on? How they can hear me.
Are you there? No?
It's not me.
So I'll just cover this. So in 2017, the city of Goldendale purchased and installed Lumen Wave smart street lights. Lumen Wave no longer exists and hasn't existed for the last couple of years, making it difficult to get the software support that the city needs and the oversight of how the system works. Carl is somewhat trained on it and can manage that. I know nothing about it. And it's looks like Chinese to me, to be honest, when I get in there. It's not an easy, friendly user program or software. So I did find the company, Diane, that they presented two quotes, one for $8,804 and one for $53,380. The difference in these is the one's just a basic general service agreement to keep them on retainage, and basically someplace we can order the parts through and they can get on there periodically and say, yeah, this is what's wrong with it. The other one is to provide the city with an updated version of the software that's more user-friendly to the user and more oversight of what's going on with the system and how the city kind of manage that system. So what we need is, I was hoping that they could be here tonight to kind of explain the differences between the two contracts a little bit better detail than I can in just a few minutes. But, if you guys want, we can table this and hopefully maybe get a subcommittee together or a couple council members and staff to just do a phone conversation and get a better understanding of it over the phone with them so that you guys can help report back to an understanding to the city council.
Excuse me, I gotta go.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, those are you.
I really don't feel like we should probably tonight enter into either one of these options until we have more, or at least a couple of council members have a more in-depth understanding of what we would be purchasing.
Right. Now, I have a number of questions after reading through this. In fact, basically, the two packages consist of $8,800 a change and $53,000 change.
It's a substantial difference, yes.
A substantial difference, yeah. There's a lot more included in the large quote. Now, I'll hold my questions until we can address this with the company personnel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need a motion to table this, or do we just?
Yeah, it'd be nice to table it, and then if, I guess we could appoint two council members to sit in on a meeting with them to get their questions answered and get a clearer understanding of what we're purchasing.
So, that was Lauren. Sorry, just a quick question. Is this the same company that we originally started with, or did they go out of business and
No.
someone else acquired them?
They're out of business. They went out of business, and this business, seeing that there was no one there to pick up where Lumen Wave, because they just went away. So this business seen an opening and opportunity to step in and fill in that gap. And they are, some of them were employees of Lumen Wave that were laid off that helped set up this gap company to fulfill a need, because there's several of these light systems throughout the country.
So this is a startup business.
No, they've been around for a while.
Oh, okay. they just absorbed some of the employees and personnel from the
Yes.
defunct one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I can see the 8,000 would be a quick fix, but then, you know, I think we have a lot of questions on why we want to spend $53,000.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it'd be great if we had a committee, if we get moving on it pretty soon. I assume we want to do that.
Yes, yeah, we're having light problems and they're just getting worse.
Right.
I can't get into those light systems and understand what the issues are.
Right.
And they'll be able to do that.
Mhm.
Well, another quick question. The large bid, $53,000 bid, is that for replacing a lot of the existing faulty software and all that?
It does replace some of that, but I don't want to speak out of turn. I'd rather them answer your questions. That's
Absolutely.
why it was
Absolutely.
important for me to have them here tonight, to answer those
Absolutely.
questions I can.
Because
I'm not an electrician, so.
well, it's hard to understand even what they, their dialogue here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't read, I'm not you can talk software to me all day long and I ain't gonna understand anything.
That takes two of us.
Well, Pat, we can pick three. Can we pick three?
Yeah, well, I guess you can't because you're a 7-man council because it's not, well, that wouldn't be a quorum, as long as you don't have a quorum.
Yeah, right. So we do, go ahead, Steve. You want,
Let's make the motion. I would like to make the motion to table this until we've had the opportunity to form the committee and discuss it more with the company.
would you want to form the committee tonight? And then, yeah. So I guess whoever wants volunteers, I don't care. Steve
I'll
does,
volunteer.
Dave,
Sure.
okay. Lauren or Emily? Oh, okay.
Or
You
we
wanna
just
be on it?
volunteered you.
Okay.
It is a way.
So who's on the committee?
Well,
Lauren and Steve and Dave, I guess.
Okay.
was that a yes, Lauren?
Yeah, I'll do it, it's fine, that sounds good.
Okay.
So did you make the motion?
I made the
To
motion
table.
to table it.
The
yes.
table, okay, so,
Well, I'll second, anybody second, I'll second the motion then.
okay. Any more discussion? And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah.
And I guess either Pat will pick the meeting date for you guys, or?
Yeah, I'll try to schedule something. I'll talk to them and come up with 3 dates that work for them and then see if we can do actually a presentation in this room on the screen where he can go over what he's.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Next line, Larry Bellamy, professional service contract.
So, so we need to over the next year on and off, we will need to use Larry here and there to finish up some of the projects he started and particularly on, we're gonna be using him for our budget this year because he knows the budget better than anybody, of where, so that he can sit down with me and Sandy and really go over where we financially are, what money's out there, and what we have in reserve, and get all that information, and help us prepare the new budget, so we're very familiar with the new budget as he is with the old budget. And this will be on other issues too, projects that we'll keep him involved in, like the TIF. We'll keep him involved in that, because, he started these projects and I'm still trying to get up to speed on some of them. And it'll be a big assistance to this administrative staff to have him on a standby status.
Well, Mayor, I move to authorize the mayor to enter into the Larry Bellamy professional service agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now opposed, next item is the bulk water station.
So bulk water station is we don't have one, other than they're using the city yard, and so that's very limited hours, and the use of bulk water has increased significantly this year, from what I'm understanding. Where we have lines of trucks sometimes waiting to get into the water in the city yard. And then it's kind of a challenging process, because they gotta come in here and create a application for bulk water, and then then they come back and you guys bill them, which she could tell you more about the billing process, and it's really labor intensive, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes it takes a week and a half or so. Because during the summer months, when they're doing not just the city crew, but we have personal people and we have businesses that use it, sometimes there's 400 or 500 transactions. There's 15, 20 pages for 1 month worth of bulk water usage. So not only do we have to make sure that all the lines match, that we're not losing any water, but then you have to go back and make sure by hand, figure out how much did, company A use, how many did John Smith use, how much did, and go through each and every one. Then we have to make sure that matches and that everybody adds up, and then we make an invoice and mail them out. So it is quite time consuming. It is not, it's all done by hand. There is no program that we have to do that.
Could you give a short explanation of what the bulk water program is?
So bulk water is, there's some people that have it like water trucks that they're using for commercial companies. They need to do it at a project. So they will fill up their big water truck. There's also a few personal people that their wells go bad. They are also buying bulk water. They fill up their own water container. I know there's a few people that have land out of town, they're watering trees, or they have animals that are in a field that don't have water. So they fill up with us and use it for that. So they're essentially just buying, getting bulk water, a big container, 300 or 400 gallons to thousands of gallons at a time.
And how is that dispensed?
They have at the shop right now, we have a bulk water station, so they'll go in, write down their beginning read, when they're done at the ending read, they have a hose and they have some other attachments, they hook up and they fill up.
It's metered.
It is
It's
metered,
metered,
yes.
Okay.
So even the city crew, we pay for our own water as well. So when they're watering the flowers or doing that truck or anything else that they're using the water, they write it down and we bill ourselves for that portion of the water as well.
Yeah, and being inside the yard is not safe for them.
For
Being inside the city yard, we've had trouble.
private personnel or
Yeah, it's
even
liability on the
contractors.
city, yeah, and we've had trouble where, like a few years ago, saw a couple of flowers were stolen, and somebody put on their website that they were free or something, and.
They
they're
did.
getting more, but Sandy caught it and put a stop to it, and, there's been some other situations out there. The other thing is, it's very limited of when people can come and get water. That has to be during city business hours, and Friday the shop's closed. This way, they would just come up, swipe their card, punch in how many gallons of water they want, and then the machine would turn on and they would use that many gallons and it would shut off, just kind of like a gas station pump, but it's pumping water.
So this is a general idea of what those.
That is the unit, yes, yeah. And
This is the one we're looking at.
Yes, yeah, that's all insulated, heated, prevented from freezing, but it's got all the backflow protection requirements in it. We would be building something similar to that.
In the back.
Well, we would buy that unit, and we'd do it back here behind City Hall. the big
Oh, in this
one.
open one?
Yeah,
Yes, so then it's not behind a locked gate where if it is on a Friday, when the crew's not there, or a Saturday or Sunday, they can still use that. There is a
Morning, night.
few commercial companies that do have a key that can get into the gate, but that would also potentially not have anybody having to get into the shop when nobody's there.
Good idea.
yeah, the less keys are out there, the better off we are.
Absolutely. Good idea. Strive for an upgrade.
And then also, they could use their card, versus us manually billing them. They could use their card, because sometimes people don't pay for a few months at a time. We have to keep track of all that, and it does get quite
The cards
consuming.
the cards would be issued here at City Hall?
No, they would just use their Visa debit card,
Oh, really?
and it would just go through the Visa system, just like if you were paying online.
Yep. They
Excellent.
would just swipe, yeah, there would be a machine there that they would swipe the
Okay.
card in
And then there's no billing for us at all, it would just
and
come,
automatically do
well,
it.
they'll have to figure out how that comes into our system, but essentially, they just use our Visa card.
All right. Excellent.
Is there a financial analysis that shows the investment of the city to date in our water infrastructure system and our cost of processing that relates to the cost we're selling this water for?
No, we could probably do one up if you needed to. I did a rough one, Lauren. It would take probably about 4.5 years for it to pay for itself.
So city residents are gonna float the cost of 4.5 years to provide water to folks outside of the city limits?
They currently do.
Right, but I mean, what we currently do isn't necessarily what we should be doing. So I just wanna make sure that, the financial investment makes sense for folks that are paying city taxes.
Well, I understand what you're getting at, Lauren, but city taxes don't go to water. Water's an enterprise fund, it's only what they pay for water.
Right, well, city taxes are people that build in the city and pay for the water infrastructure system, pay for new connection fees. I mean, we look at trying to incentivize housing and trying to create more housing within Goldendale because of the housing shortage. And one of the huge costs is paying for the initial connection fee. So while it may not fall under the exact definition of a city tax, it is a huge cost to the residents of the city to pay for this water infrastructure system.
So are you saying you don't wanna sell the water in bulk anymore? Is that what you're getting at? Other than for construction?
No, I just want to make sure that the residents of the city of Goldendale are not, well, honestly, the residents of the city of Goldendale that are paid for the infrastructure and continue to pay for the infrastructure should be selling the water outside of the city limits at least cost, if not something more.
The bulk water rate is a lot higher than what you pay for a residence. Significantly higher.
That sounds good off the cuff. I just want to see numbers is all I'm asking for.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can bring some numbers back at the next city council, Lauren.
Yeah, that sounds good. I just want to make decisions based on, something that backs that up. So, thank you.
Okay.
We might have to talk about if we're going to put all this money for new infrastructure, we might have to increase the rate that we charge for that bulk water.
And we can
You know, if we're creating a huge convenience for the people who use this, I understand what Lauren's saying there. It's only fair that the cost of that's picked up
So what
by those who use it.
debt recovery would be acceptable to the city council? So we could figure that into our calculation. So what I'm getting at is, we're not going into debt payments because we're gonna pay for it, but do you want that money recouped within 2.5 years, 3 years? Because it's all gonna be based on what their current use is and that gap.
Do we know the lifespan of this system or this?
Oh, the system should, as long as it doesn't get vandalized, we can't
Yeah.
predict for that, but.
I'm just thinking like,
It should
is it gonna last us 5 years and then we just have to go around and pay for it again?
Oh, it'll last longer than 5 years,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, pumps go out, things like that, but that's
Yeah.
just general maintenance stuff.
Yeah.
It really doesn't have that many moving parts.
No,
Yeah.
it's just mainly pumping, electricity, and a pump.
Yeah.
And, the only thing I would be really concerned to get is the card unit getting damaged, and we've actually even talked about, trying to come up with a solution of how to keep that locked at night and then just give people that are common customers using the code to get into it. At night, during the day, we leave it open, so.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. So that's where we're at as far as how much time we want to dedicate for recouping the overall cost.
Well, because that's gonna determine the rate we should charge,
Yes.
up front, so.
Maybe we can do a comparable to what other
And
cities
we
that
can
have
look at
this.
a 10-year replacement plan too, or 15-year replacement maintenance plan, and come up with what we think is a fair price on that.
Okay.
Does that work for you, Lauren?
Yeah, that sounds good. But I think we should also think about the number of projected users and maybe an initial fee up front for those folks to be able to utilize the system to help pay for that cost early on.
So you're kind of looking at a one-time impact fee?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we'll bring that information back.
So is this something we're gonna table, or?
Yeah, we'll just table it.
Okay.
Then, I want everybody being comfortable with the idea, so.
Do we want a motion for that?
We did the motion for the last table.
Yeah, we have a
Okay.
motion to table something.
I'll move that we table this subject until we have some further data and information, which probably should be later than the next council meeting.
I think we can get it put together by then.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes. Next thing, report of officers. We'll start with Mylan.
Oh, all right, okay, well, thank you, Mayor. I just, one thing that is coming up this coming Saturday, the Association of International Women's Pilots will be coming in on Saturday, and they will be staying the night, and they will be afterwards, and they will be up to the observatory, and the city is going to provide transportation. And this is an organization that started back in 1928, and Amelia Earhart was a member at that time, at the beginning of it. And so there'll be 16 pilots coming in with about 6 planes, and that's the latest. I should get an update here maybe in a few more days, but anyway, they're excited to come in. These pilots are coming from Washington and Oregon, and it's an opportunity that for the airport, and mostly opportunity for people flying in and seeing the city of Goldendale and spending the night and having dinner and seeing the observatory, and so we're pleased that this is going to be happening. So
That's great.
I guess that's all I had to say tonight. So thank you, Marilyn.
I'm just looking forward to fair this weekend.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dave?
Oh, nothing for me today, man, thank you.
Steve?
Just a short oration here concerning committees. They are an ultimately important tool for the council to work directly with the administrative part of the city and the departments to, help facilitate a lot of these issues that we have to deal with. We've got, a half a dozen standing committees, and then we can throw in a subcommittee, just short term, whenever we feel the need. But I don't feel that they're being used as much as they should be. And I just want to stress that, the importance of these committees. It takes a lot of pressure off the overall council when you can get 2 or 3 council members to sit down with the department head and hash a lot of this out, rather than bring it up at 7 o'clock at night. And I just want to stress that, and would like to still, I will request setting up a regular schedule for at least 2 standing committees that I'm on. That would be Public Works.
And parks.
I mean, we've talked about this before. At least once a month, minimum, once a month. And if, you know, coming into that time period there, the department head feels it's really not necessary, just get a hold of us and say,
Right.
you know, let's not do it. But at least schedule it, just like our council meetings. You know, have it scheduled.
How about on Tuesdays for Public Works Committee after the first council meeting every month?
Okay,
Does that work?
that works, yeah. And also, I would like to set up a request, the same thing for this community development committee that we've been working on. I mean,
Yeah, I told Dave earlier, I need to get with him on that and see where we're at, because Larry was kind of involved in that, and me somewhat, but I need to get caught up exactly where we're at, so we can plan for the next meeting, because I think we were on, goals and objectives, is that correct?
Yeah, we had just finished taking the inventory
Yeah.
for the parks, and, you know, we'll want to fine tune that committee because it's broke down in community development and then specifically park upgrades. And so, yeah, we have a lot to figure out on that committee.
Yeah.
And like,
But it's a great opportunity on that committee to, you know, work with representatives from the county and the Chamber of
Yes.
Commerce, and
it's
a lot of resources that they have at their disposal
definitely,
that could really help us out there.
definitely. And like we've already discussed, there's grant money available for community development. And our little Main Street is just screaming for some paint and some elbow grease and some fixing up. And we've talked about downtown revitalization for 30 years.
Yeah, I've heard it, yeah. Right.
This is nothing new,
Right,
and nothing's really ever been accomplished.
kind of, yeah. I think the chamber is working on some things. There's a grant that they can apply for. I think Nicole, the director of the chamber, is looking into that, so maybe by the next meeting, then more information will be out on that. And so, yeah, there's some money available, just how it can be used, I'm not real sure yet, but it's a lot of money.
It is a lot.
A lot of money,
Yes.
and gotta decide. And I also would like to include the airport. It didn't have to be every month, but at least every other month or whatever. And one thing we got to decide on the airport is, you know, time is moving on. We got to decide how much money we want to apply for next year's capital budgets. And that should be put in fairly soon. A request should be put in fairly soon. And of course, again, I'm waiting for Gina Mossberger's staff to send us the 2023 form so we can fill it out, but we got to decide how much are we going to apply for. And that's be one thing that we would decide at the airport meeting or whatever. And so that's, yeah, but it's something we need to work on, so.
And, you know, this is open to any of the other committees, standing committees
Yeah.
that we have. I would highly suggest that the other committees fall in line with scheduling, having a scheduled meeting agenda. Again, like I say, if there's nothing on the agenda, good.
Yeah, then cancel it.
Cancel it.
Right.
It's not a big deal. But, and along those lines, the ordinance committee is as important, needs as much time as any of the rest of them. And with that, I'd like to commend Jeff, our code enforcement officer, for what he's accomplished. I mean, it's noticeable. around town. It really is. What he's accomplishing, using some poorly written ordinances, to say the least. He needs our help. And anyway, I just wanted to stress the importance of the committees and how they should be used. And that's why we've got them. So I'll let it go at that.
Well, I don't even know how many.
Hey Steve, this is Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I hear you, and especially being part of the ordinance committee, I feel responsible to follow through on your request. It's been challenging with family and work and everything else, trying to do this volunteer job for city council, and just wanted to do the due diligence and do the work up front before we have a meeting, and I need to do a better job of making time for that. And definitely these are important things, and I appreciate you continuing to bring this up. And so I'll work on making time for that work and following through for you. And additionally, I think you make some really important comments about community development work, and I feel like it kind of slipped out of the city's hands a little bit, and we haven't seen a lot of progress. And so I think we need city staff, or not city councilors and staff, to work together to bring that home a little bit and make some stuff happen there. And I will make some time to participate with whatever group gets together to make that happen. So I hear you, Steve, and I will continue to try and work to make that happen in the near term.
You're welcome, and thank you, Lauren.
Is that it for you, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank
Lauren,
you.
did you have anything to add?
Nope, I'll just leave it at that for tonight.
Thanks, Lauren. And Sandy, did you have anything?
Nope.
You are all done with your,
Yes.
okay. Public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment?
Jack Runyon, I live at 194 Woodland Road, but I own property in Goldendale. First off, I want to request that the city plow the alleyways. We've got potholes in the alleyways that are probably 7 inches deep now. I have a list of potholes in the city. This list is about 25 long, potholes that are around. Last year we dodged potholes until the fall. It looks like we're going to do that again this year. I'm a little curious, we put asphalt on the west side on 2 streets, and yet we had a project that was started 2 years ago between Broadway and 2nd Street that was never finished. It has curbing on Broadway and 2nd to 2nd Street. It has curbing. The 2 streets you put asphalt on the west side, don't even have curbs. So I'm not sure that we wasted asphalt if we do go back in to put curbs in or whatever. But I'm going to hand this list in. So, and there's all kinds of stuff on here. Part of it is city beautification. They did access out there at the dollar store, Dollar General, and one section was left open. There's a little bit of red rock in it now, but it's been what, over a year? No red rock's been put in it.
Where's this at?
Out by the Dollar General. Between the Dollar General and the coffee stop, there's a little being in there. But the red rock looks atrocious around the city. So, just kind of.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Jim, yeah.
Anyone else here for public comment? Anyone on Zoom for public comment? Nope. Okay, we're going to be in an executive session for 30 minutes. I need everyone to clear out of the room.
Do you expect to make an announcement after the executive session?
I do not think so. Nope.
Thank you.